Hey guys, what's up? Ginge here, and welcome to a tutorial on how to green screen inside a Counter-Strike and add depth of field to videos, things like this. If you've seen my latest video called CSGO Selective Color, then a lot of what I did and now I'm going to talk about in here. I won't talk about everything because I'd kind of like to go into a bit more depth in other videos, but today I'm just going to be showing you how to do the green screen and the depth of field. So the first thing you want to do is head over to this website here and download Half-Life After Effects, which is a program we're going to use to launch up Counter-Strike with. So you always want to make sure you've got the most up-to-date version, which is this one here, 2.7.3.0 at the time of recording this, which is 24th of January. So if you click on that, head down, you've got the hle.zip down here. That's the one you want to download. So we will download that, and once it's downloaded, we're going to take it wherever you like. I'm going to take it onto desktop, and we're just going to leave it on here. If we extract it and then delete the zip, what we will find inside of this folder is a bunch of files and a folder. Don't really need to pay attention to all of these. The only one we want to concentrate at the moment is HLAE, the application. So we're going to double click to launch this. Check for updates automatically. Yep, because you always want to make sure you've got it up to date. And we're going to go to Tools, Developer, Custom Loader. And we've got two boxes here that we need to fill in. We've got a browse for both of these. So the hook DLL, we're going to click on its browse, and we're going to go to AFX hook source inside the HLE folder. All right, that's going to be our hook source for that one. And the program path is going to be our program path for Counter-Strike. So we're going to go to C drive, at least that's where mine's installed. So C drive, Steam apps, common, Counter-Strike, and then it's the CSGO raw application. So we're going to click open. And then you can see you've got a bunch of things in here. The ones that I normally take away, dash window. I'll take dash window away and add dash novid. And then we're going to hit OK, and that should launch us into Counter-Strike any second now. There we go. So you see it's launched us with our console open. We're just going to get rid of that, and it's launched us with this notification as well, saying obviously you've launched game in secure mode. Just be wary of that. Don't go joining matchmaking games with this open or protected VAC servers or anything like that, because it is essentially a hack. So just make sure that you stay clean of those. Now when you first load in, obviously you might have a demo lined up, you might not. So we're just going to go over to my watch tab, downloaded, and we're just going to have a look at the latest downloaded one. Watch tab apparently isn't, so let's download one. Oh yeah, I reinstalled Counter-Strike, never mind. So I won't have any. Wow, rip all my demos. Okay, that's cool. So obviously you can use this with professional games. You can download their demos. You can download your own demos. You can get a demo off somebody else. It's quite useful. Sorry, I just nudged the mic for a second there. You can do it with pretty much everything. So we're just going to wait for this one to download, and then we'll load into it. God, wow, I'm actually like, what's going on here? There we go. There we go. Right, so watch on GoTV. I haven't tried this with a POV demo. So I'm not sure how well it will work. I imagine it would work okay, and it would work fine. But yeah, so I'll explain what we're doing now. I like to do in a console unbind shift. So when you press shift F2 to pull this demo UI up, you don't get that that the thing pop up in front of you. So the map, that's what I was trying to say. Now if we let it play for a second here, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to get rid of the net graph because we don't need that, and we're going to go to CL_draw only death notices 1. So that gets rid of most of our HUD apart from the death notices, obviously, and our crosshair, which we can get rid of a bit later on. Now, we're going to add a few streams at this point. So you want to load up your console, and we're going to type mirv, so mirv_streams. Now, if you just press enter, that's going to give you a bunch of different things you can do with these. But one we want to start off doing is add. So we're going to go mirv streams, add, and then we're just going to add a layer that's just going to record the map and only the map. Right? So wherever the player's looking, that part of the map, that's being recorded. So we're going to go add and then baseFx, which means we're just using the raw video and then raw. You can name it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be raw, but raw is just obviously the raw layer, the bottom layer. So mirv streams, add baseFx raw. We're going to press enter. So that's now added our baseFx raw layer. And you can preview layers by going mirv_streams, preview, and then raw. So this is what it looks like. Obviously you've got that it without HDR on. That's it with. So there's a bit of a difference. Obviously, if the countdown comes down a little bit more, might be able to notice it a bit more in a second. Once the timer comes down, right, we'll stop it there. You can notice a difference. That's what I'm trying to get at here. So the next stream we're going to add is called the GREENWEAPON or Green Models or whatever. So you want to go to mirv streams, add. And then we're going to add a matteEntity, which means we're only going to capture what we specifically pick out. So matteEntity, and then GREENMODELS. Press enter. Now this we're gonna change a few things with this one, in order to capture what we actually want. So if we go to mirv streams, preview, GREENMODELS, you can see it's literally just our hands now. And if he turns around at all, maybe, possibly, there we go, you can see the players as well. So it's capturing just the models on the map. So now we've got so now you can kind of see where I'm coming from with the whatchamacallit, I was saying a second ago. What was I saying a second ago? My selective color video, that's it. You can see now how I just green screen this layer, lay it on top of the raw video, and then I could tint the raw video to black and white and keep this layer fine. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. So that's that one. And the last one we're going to add is called our depth of field. So we're going to go mirv streams, add, and then depthWorld. So it's picking up all the depth of field in the world, and we're just going to name this DOV, so depth of field. We're going to add in that, and we're going to edit a few things with this one. So we're going to go to mirv_streams, edit, DOF, and then we want to type playerModelsAction is drawDepth. So that pretty much means it's gonna also, as well as do the depth of field for the map, it's also going to include the players in that. So the further they get away, the blower they get, kind of thing. It keeps them in focus or keeps them not in focus. So we're going to add that, and then we're also going to do pretty much the exact same command there, but instead of player models, we're going to go weaponModelsAction, draw depth. So we're also drawing the depth for our hands. Now DrawViewModel, we want to be set to 1, which is quite handy with these streams. You can attach a lot of different commands to them. So if we do mirv streams, edit, depth of field, and then DrawViewModel, and then space 1, that's going to mean our view model in the front is going to be drawn, so that's also going to be included in the depth of field. And then we can start playing around. So if we preview this now, mirv streams, preview, depth of field, you can see we've got our depth of field map, right? So whatever's white is going to be the blurriest, and then as it gets more black and black and black, up right to close. If it's solid black, then we're talking it's in focus. If it's solid white, then it's completely out of focus. Now, Counter-Strike sets a few defaults for these, but you can edit these even. If you go to Merv Streams and then edit, so Merv Streams, edit, DOF, so depth of field, and then depthVal. You can set this to 100, so you can see it pulls it a lot further away. You can set this to maybe 5. You could set this to, I don't know, 1,000. So it's a very harsh cutoff. And there's another one that we're going to do. So if I set this back to 300, there's another layer of the depth of field. So if we go to Merv Streams, edit, depthValMax, and set this to maybe 4,000, and then now we edit it, or hold on, oh no, I completely missed out the depth of field bit. There we go, edit depth of field. So now you can see we've set the maximum value the depth of field can be really far back, so you can add maybe a very subtle depth of field. Don't know, it's up to you. For my purposes, I want quite a shallow depth of field, so I'm going to add it to 1,500, and the depth value I'm going to put about 200. So you can see some bits are going to be really blurry, some bits aren't be. In fact, I might even pull the max val into 1,000, and then you'll be able to notice the difference a bit more. So we're going to leave it at that. That's now our depth of field layer. So if we go to Merv_streams preview and then just 2 quotation marks, that means we're not going to be previewing any streams. And this is where we're going to start to record them. So we're going to go to Merv_streams. If we type print, it's going to give us all 3 layers, right? All 3 layers of our thingy. Now, in fact, I've missed out a command. I've just remembered on our on our raw layer. Even if we go Merv_streams, edit raw, we want our playerModelsAction to be invisible, and we also want the same for our weaponModelsAction. We also want that to be invisible, and then we can draw our HUD to 1. It's important to have the drawHud 1 on there, because if you're doing like an AWP shot, because you've removed all the other HUD, the when you scope in with the AWP, all the black around it and the like crosshair will go. It will just be invisible. So if you have drawHud 1 on this raw layer, then it will draw out that scope. So it's pretty handy. Now you can record in 2 different formats. The best format I think to record in is TGA. So we're going to go Merv_streams and then record format and then TGA. Tap that in. That's now set to record in TGA file format. And the next one is quite dependent. So obviously I'm running Counter-Strike on an SSD, and the file sizes that these pictures are going to come out at are going to be huge. Now, writing anything to an SSD at this kind of a file size this regularly will kill it off very quickly. So I prefer to record everything onto a separate hard drive. Now, in order to do that, you need to do this anyway to set up where you want these to be recorded to, but if you have a specific file directory that you want it recorded to, this is how you do it. You do Merv_streams space record name and then 2 like speech marks, and this is where you're going to put your file path. So we're going to go into my D drive, and there's a folder in there called videos. There's a folder in that called tutorial, which that's where we're going to record them to. So then we press enter, and it's going to record them into there. Now this is where you can set your frame rates. So some people like to record in 300 frames a second. Some people like to record in 30 frames per second for slow motion, things like that, whatever. But for tutorial purposes, I'm just going to record in 60. So in any case, you want to set the host timescale to 0. And the host frame rate is what you want to change. So we're going to go host underscore frame rate. You can see at the moment it's set to 0. That's default. That's normal speed. So we're going to go to 60, which means it's going to take 60 frames a second, make that into the video. So once you've got all of that, obviously we're going to make sure that we've got CL draw only death notices 1 enabled. And then we can go ahead and tap merv underscore streams record and then start. And what this will do is it will start recording the game, and it will only start recording the frames when you take the console away. So once we've taken the console away, it will start recording the frames, and then when you're happy, we're gonna pull the console back up and take away where it says record start and instead put record end in there. So this is where it's going to get a little bit flashy, because it's recording what will be 180 frames a second. It'll be recording because it's recording. Oh no, that is right, because it's recording 60 frames per second for each layer. So we've got a depth of field layer, a green screen layer, and a raw layer. That for each of those is going to record 60 frames per second. So once we tap start, you can see it's now flashing. Going to take the console away, so it's now recording. Tap play on our little demo UI bit, and you can see that now the action is now starting to move. We are switching players because I've turned auto director still on, but this will be nice actually, because we'll be able to use this as quite a prime example for the depth of field. Now obviously if you're waiting for a specific moment in a specific demo, then you want to get to the start of that action before you do this, because you don't want to record the whole round like this. That would just be horrible. So yeah, pretty much just make sure you're at the right place at the right time, and you'll be all good to go. Now I'm going to stop this here, so I'm going to pull up the console, take away, go up a command, take away the start and type end, and that's now ended it. So you can see now we're playing at quite a fast speed. We're going to pause it, and that's our bits and bobs done. So if we head over to our video files, we've got a tutorial folder in here, and in tutorial we have take 0000. Inside of take we've got 3 folders, which are our 3 layers. So we've got a raw folder which has got all of our raw files in there. We've got a green models, which has all the screenshots for our raw files, or our green models even, and a depth of field, which has all the files for our depth of field. So we're done with Counter-Strike at this point. You can close that out. That's all good. And what you want to do at this point now is load After Effects. If you don't have After Effects, get it. I don't know. You know, I've bought the Creative Cloud recently, and the amount of programs you have access to is insane. There's so many. It's just mad. So once you've loaded After Effects, we're going to go new project, and we're going to import a few things. So in this little box here, we're going to right click, import file, and we're going to go over to our folder where our frames were recorded, so tutorial, and then take, and we're going to do our raw ones first. So we're going to go into the raw file. Now you want to see the first one here, so you want to search for the first one, 00000. Make sure that one's clicked first, and then check this box here that says target sequence. Check that, and then click import, and that will import all of our different screenshots or file recordings for these ones here. So you can see now it's literally just recording the raw, although it's recording the stickers as well. I messed that up, never mind. I think there's actually a separate command to take those stickers away, but you can see, so it's just recorded the raw, just the map and the shadows, right? So the next one we're going to import is going to be our green models. So again, come into here, find the first one, target sequence, import. That's now imported our green models. If we line that up on top and then play this out, you can see this is just our green models playing here. So very nice. And then the last one we're going to do is our depth of field. So head into depth of field layer again, find the first frame, target sequence, import, and that's now imported our depth of field. So if we play this bit out, you can see our depth of field is dynamic. It follows the player. Everything comes into focus as he goes into it. Very nice indeed. Now we're going to line up to the point where the players actually start moving, which is about there. And I'm going to select them all, cut them down, go to the start. Ignore me on this bit. I'm just keeping it simple. So this is our clip now, right? Now we're going to use a few different effects inside of Counter-Strike in order to achieve certain things here. So if we take away the depth of field layer, we've got our green screen layer. And in order to get rid of the green screen, we're going to head over to our effects panel and look for a plugin called Keylight. And then we want to drag the Keylight onto the video. Screen color, we're just going to select as green. Now, the way that this is recorded, obviously it's in-game, so there's no motion blur, so it's very, very sharp. It does a very, very good job of keying out all the green, as you can see. It just looks like a normal video now. But instead, they're two layers. So if I quickly show you what I meant by in my selective colors video, if I pulled out a tint and put the tint on the bottom layer, background's now in black and white, everything else is still in color. So that's pretty handy. I'm going to turn this on to full for the next bit so we can actually see the real benefit of this. And we're going to go to about here, I think. So now what we're going to do is the depth of field. So you can see our depth of field is pretty much a matte. So we're going to go to our layer, and we're going to make a new layer, a new adjustment layer. And with this adjustment layer, we're going to look up another effect called camera lens blur, and we're going to put the camera lens blur onto that adjustment layer. And then this layer, the blur map, we're going to set a target to this top one here, which is our depth of field. You can tell because it goes 2, 3, 4 here, and it will go 2, 3, 4 here. So our target one's going to be the top one, which is our depth of field. We're going to select that, and then now we can hide our depth of field layer. And as you can see, it has overlaid our lens blur on top of this, so the foreground's nicely in focus even, and the further away things get, the further out of focus they get. So if we put this back up to 100% and we scrub through a bit here, you can see down here players are starting to go out of focus. Depth is completely out of focus again with over here. So everything up close is in focus, further away gets out of focus. So obviously these are really nice for making like screenshots with, or like wallpapers. So like if we go to like here, for instance, bang, if we go to like there, that would look pretty cool as a screenshot. So you can go composition, render frame as file, and then you can render it as a JPEG. And then let's just say into our videos, we'll just save it into there. Save, render. That's it, done. Videos, and then there's your wallpaper with the depth of field in full res. Yeah, it looks very nice. But that's it, guys. So that's pretty much how to green screen and depth of field. I'll be bringing out more tutorials later on regarding different ways you can use these, different ways you can manipulate these, make them a bit better. I'm also going to be doing like FOV tutorials, things like that. So thank you very much for watching. As I said, you can now throw this, if you were to highlight it all, pre-compose, okay, you can now throw this composition wherever you want, and you still got everything, double click and you can edit it all. Very handy. So as I said, guys, thank you very much for watching. Any questions, leave a comment or let me know in a private message on YouTube, things like that. Yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next time for more tutorials. Toodaloo.